where's the real battle for Jewish unity? Because in Sparks of Jewish Unity 1 through 7, we already learned many ideas of how to look at each other, how to be kind to each other, how to be compassionate to each other, how to respect each other, how to treat each other with dignity, how to cherish each other. So if everyone around me, the problem is not with them, the problem is that I just need to judge them more kindly or with more compassion, then where's the real battle for Jewish unity? Where is my actual battle? What's left is that the battle, the hardship, what's getting in the way of Jewish unity is actually inside of each of us. It's not interpersonal. The problem is not interpersonal. The problem is inside of ourselves. When we understand how to control our own selves, how to control our own inclinations, there'll be nothing left standing in the way of unity. So, spark of Jewish unity number 8. How do we take control of our own selves in order that we can actually be unifiers? So in chapter 9 of Tanya, the Alter Rebbe teaches us, where do all of our bad feelings toward each other come from? Bad feelings in general, where do they come from? And so we kind of touched on this a little bit in the first class, that there's the superficial layer inside of us, and then there's the holy, true layer inside of us. The holy layer inside of us, the godly soul, is one and united and just wants to see the best, wants to have compassion, wants to unite with everyone around us, wants to connect with all others. But then we've got another life, another force, another soul inside of ourselves, another inclination inside of ourselves. The life of our blood, the life of our body, our human self, our animal self. Why do we call the external side of us, our life force, why do we call it the animal soul? Because just like an animal does everything that it does in a drive to protect itself, in an instinct to protect itself, all of its motivations are to protect themselves and their species. Every person, every human being, in addition to wanting to do good in the world, has this animal drive of self-protection, of self-preservation, of selfishness and self-centeredness, of wanting things to be about themselves. That's where our scarcity mentality, for example, comes from. When it comes to the godly soul, there's no scarcity because holiness is eternal. Torah is eternal. Mitzvahs are eternal. The minute the mitzvahs and the Torah are important to me, so I want to share them with everyone else. I want to help everyone else overcome their own battles too. If my godly soul is the most important thing, if making the world a better place is the most important thing to me, then I want to help my friend make her world a better place too. I want to help her in her struggles. But for our animal soul, there's not this desire to connect. There's a desire to self-protect.
Yeah.
When with physical resources, they're not infinite and eternal. Physical resources are limited. And so something that I have, somebody else, something that I have is mine. I want to protect it. And if somebody else has something, then I could be jealous about that, or I could be afraid that maybe I won't have enough if they have something. So we're pitted against each other. So how do feelings, right? How does, when something comes to separate between myself and another Jew, I need to recognize, what am I feeling inside of myself? What is the voice of my animal soul? How does it talk to me in order to pit me against others? And in order to make me believe that others are pitted against me? And so in chapter 9 of Tanya, the Alter Rebbe describes that just like our physical blood begins in the heart, that's where it gets filled up with oxygen in our heart, and then it pumps into our entire body, and then it rises up to our brain to give our brain that oxygen as well. The same thing is true with our animal soul. Our animal soul lives in our heart, travels throughout our entire body, and then even rises up, not the animal soul itself, but the traits of the animal soul, right? The animal soul lives in our heart. Her traits could be a trait of anger, despair, jealousy, wanting to use somebody else, right? All these traits, the animal soul generates them in the heart, sends them around in our blood until ultimately the feeling rises up to our head. And in our head, that's where the battle could begin. Am I going to believe this feeling? And am I going to let my animal soul give me all kinds of excuses and reasons for this feeling? Or am I going to recognize that this is my animal soul and begin to resist the urge to get dragged into the whatever feeling it is that it sent up to me? So let's give an example. Let's say um, somebody, I see my neighbor, right? I see my neighbor who we already discussed. We brought up this neighbor who has all kinds of, let's say, harmful opinions, in my view, right? I see my neighbor. Suddenly, what I think is happening is that because my neighbor has such bad opinions, I hate her. But what's actually happening? Let's slow it down. I see my neighbor, the animal soul wakes up and is like, oh, here comes the one who is a threat to my worldview. And before it even hits my head, the animal soul sends these feelings of hatred or feelings of fear all around my body. So now what's happening is physical stimuli, I see my neighbor, actual response, body response, meaning response from my animal soul. This isn't even in my head yet. My body reacts first. The animal soul begins to send this fear all around my body. Oh, she's going to come and she's going to, oh, I'm sorry, all around my body and then up to my head. And in my head, the animal soul begins to give all kinds of reasons for this fear. Why am I afraid? Because she's going to challenge me with her opinions. Why am I afraid? Because her opinions are going to XYZ, right? That's our usual mode. That's what happened up until now. What could we do with this information? You recognize this is happening inside my body. This is my animal soul. You feel the sensations that are being caused. Oh, wow. My blood is filled with fear. My blood is filled with resistance. My blood is filled with revulsion. My blood is filled with etc. And then when the animal soul's feelings reach the mind, and the mind starts to say, oh, well, she has such bad opinions, or her worldviews can destroy me. In the mind, we could recognize, no, that's not what's happening here. She is not going to destroy me. She's not going to destroy the world. Her worldview isn't going to destroy myself or the world. None of that is true. What's true is that my animal soul is excited right now. And I need to, the one that I need to turn the battle against, the one that I need to actually work with here is my animal soul. First of all, to recognize, why am I afraid? Why did I tense up when I saw my neighbor? Because my animal soul is kicking up some drama and traveling around my body. This is not my neighbor's problem. This is my mission. There's something happening inside of me. First of all, even just noticing that and identifying that already is such a huge part of the solution. Knowing the problem is half the solution. When I don't know that it's my own animal soul that I need to work with, all the solutions are going to be wrong because the solutions are going to be, what should I do about my neighbor? What should I do about my neighbor? What should I do about my neighbor? The solution is already not in the right place. It's not your neighbor that you need to deal with right now. What you need to deal with is your own animal soul. For some people, even just slowing that down a little bit and recognizing where the problem is. Oh, there I go again. There my animal soul goes again. I feel my stomach clenching. That's my animal soul. I feel my shoulders tensing. That's my animal soul. Oh, I get it. I see what's happening. Identifying the problem is already half the solution. Identify, where's this angst coming from? Inside of myself. I have an animal soul that is now agitated. Okay, good. Step number one, identify the problem. Now, what do we do with it? And the answer to what to do to placate or calm or excite or get your animal soul happy about life again, the answer is that the answer to that question is as varied as how many animals there are on the planet. Meaning, every animal soul is different. And every animal soul reacts to things differently. And you need to get to know and understand your animal soul. For some people, simply identifying what's happening, they already can relax. They can be like, oh, no, my neighbor's fine. Like I get, hello, animal soul. I see you. I hear you. I feel you activated in my body, but I know who you are. I'm not going to let you drive this car. You know, like we say, like, we love our puppies, like, but we don't want them to drive our cars. We also don't want to lock them in the trunk, but we don't want them to drive our cars, right? Same with the animal soul. We don't ignore it. We don't suppress it. We don't deny it, but we don't let it drive the car. We recognize it. We let it be a passenger. We try to then use its strength for good things. You know, like that puppy can bring tremendous comfort and can be playful and can help energize you and get you out on a walk when it's a physical puppy. In the animal soul, too, the animal soul contributes so much good to our lives when we remember we're the master and it's the pet, not the other way around. So now, what do I do with my animal soul? For some people, acknowledging it's there already is enough to pop the air out of that bubble, you know, for some people, having a conversation with the animal soul works. To tell the animal soul, hey, I know you're scared of my neighbor right now, but can I tell you what I learned in class yesterday? I learned that God is in control and you have nothing to be afraid of. You know, so for some people, conversations work. For some people, total distraction works. You know, like when a toddler has a tantrum, you just got to bring it a new toy. So sometimes when our animal soul acts up, the correct response is a distraction. I'm going to completely flip the script. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to face my neighbor. I'm going to have a happy conversation about something else. Now, I just brought up 3 examples, but there are as many examples of how to deal with our animal souls as there are animal souls in the world. The important thing is get to know your own animal soul, learn its language, learn what it likes to get excited about, learn what it likes to get depressed about, learn who it likes to fight against, learn when it gets infuriated, learn when it gets giddy. Learn your animal soul. Begin to experience the feelings that happen in your body as suggestions being sent by your animal soul. Recognize that when you have a negative thought in your head, it's your animal soul trying to make sense of the feelings that it's trying to send throughout your body. And recognizing and noticing and identifying what it is will help you not to let it drive the car. Why? Why are we doing this? Why do we have to battle our animal soul? The answer is that every time we don't give in to an inclination to bring disunity to the world, or an inclination to bring despair to the world, or an inclination to give in to fear, these are negative, right? Fighting is negative in the context that we're talking about. Fear is negative in the context that we're talking about when there isn't a real threat. Despair is definitely a negative cause. Every time we refuse to give in to a negative feeling or thought, We're breaking the forces of klipa, the forces of that hide godliness. We break those forces and the godliness shines through. So we're not just making ourselves feel better. In fact, ourselves feeling better is the least important part of this entire exercise that's taking place. Every time we don't give in to despair or fear or fighting, etc., we are breaking the forces of that hide godliness, the forces of darkness in the whole world. And we're not just making our own situation better, but more importantly, we're making the world better for everyone who lives in it, because there's only a limited number of forces of darkness in the world. And most importantly, we're bringing joy to the creator of the world. We're bringing pleasure to the creator of the world. So let's bring all of these 8 sparks together for a moment. What could that look like? When there's an opportunity for lack of unity, what could it look like for me to turn it around? Let's say I'm a newscaster or an influencer, and I want to say the most juicy piece of awful gossip about some other Jew that I have heard. Step number 1, where's that desire coming from? It's coming from my animal soul. My animal soul wants fame. My animal soul wants clicks. My animal soul wants recognition. My animal soul wants a stream of income that's the more people who view what I'm going to put out there, the more income I will have. Oh, wow. So that desire came from my animal soul. Got to really work with that and be like, you know what, animal soul? Not worth it. More important to create unity. And then I could place all those other insights that we learned together, insights 1 to 7. How do I reunite with this Jew that I was about to make fun of, that I was about to malign? How do I reunite with them? Number 1, I recognize there's nothing to be afraid of their opinion or worldview that I was just about to make fun of. On the contrary, they have a desire to make the world a better place. That's what's motivating their worldview. Deeper than that, maybe they don't. I don't see their desire to make the world a better place. Well, they have a soul that's struggling, that's in so much pain with the actions that they're taking. So compassion. And how can I interact with that other Jew? Perhaps I can actually bring an elevated conversation, something that unites both of us, something in common, something Jewish we can do together. And in that way, we can not just begin, continue to expand all of this unity, heal our nation, not be pitted against each other, but actually unite so that our light can shine through, can circulate through all of us, and can influence and impact the rest of the world. Thank you so much for joining this series, for being ambassadors of light. If you have a talent, take these ideas, share it with somebody else, whether in writing or in, taking a clip or with an analogy, with a story, any way that you can. Let's just make sure that this light spreads very, very quickly. Okay. Ruti?
I forgot.
No problem. We'll leave you there till you remember.
It will come up another time.
Yes. Matla Rachel?
Yeah, I almost lost you. Okay, forgive me, but as soon as you started teaching this lesson, it was awesome, by the way. So thank you. All I could think of, I had this song playing in my head. It was Michael Jackson. If you want to change the world, start with a man in a mirror. And it just like, and everything you were saying, it all led to that. So that was just so cool. But my question is, when you were talking about the animal soul and it being as varied as the number of animals on the planet, and that we each have our own, I guess, animal soul personality, and that we might be able to find it in the animal kingdom, I started to wonder which animal am I, and I was thinking about, you see those pictures of people walking their dog and they kind of look like their dog, and I'm just like, so, you know, that's where I'm a little bit like stuck because how do we how do we get to the point where we can and awareness, like you said, is halfway there. So how do we become aware of the personality of our animal soul? Because I know for me it just blasts out. I either cry or I yell or I act inappropriately. So how am I a bear? Am I a fish?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to do better, but I don't know how to become aware of the personality of my animal soul.
Yeah. So the Torah gives us a few examples. It uses the example of an ox, an example of a sheep, sometimes an example of a goat. An ox has more of a stubborn personality. And it teaches us that we have to, whatever animal our animal soul is, we're not here to destroy it. We're here to work with it. We're here to be the rider. So the animal will take us further than we can ever go on our own. The animal is a good part of us as long as we are the boss. So an ox, very strong, lots of strength, and very stubborn. It wants its own way. So how can you use that for Jewish pride? To be stubborn and obstinate and not let anyone crush you when you have certain morals and values that you want to stick to or to bring to the world. A sheep is a follower. What's the strength that a sheep has? Well, a sheep perhaps can study Torah more quickly and accept it more easily. So how to use that trait, but not allow the weakness of the sheep, the weakness of, oh, just following anyone who has any idea, right? You got to channel that focus into following God's ways. So Torah does give us different examples, but what we need to do to understand our animal soul, sometimes we need to slow down and listen to it. So something that I found effective is, and this is, just a good idea in general. Torah tells us the strength in words and in letters and in forming letters. When you take your hidden thoughts and feelings and you reveal them into the world of revealed words, the written word. So when you get upset, rather than reacting, you run away to your room and close the door so that you can't explode over anyone, right? You take out a notebook and you just start writing and writing and writing everything you feel and think. And it's really important here not to censor, not to filter. Make sure that you know that you'll tear up the paper after. Make sure you know that no one will read it so you can write out the most humiliating, mortifying things that you're thinking and feeling. Because then you'll know the language of your animal soul. It's just write and write and write. Oh, I hate that. Oh, that person is excellent. That way, how dare they? And I'm so angry. And they remind me of, and everything that comes into your head, just write it and write it and write it and write it down. 3 pages, fill up 4 pages, however much it takes. And don't slow down when you start to calm down because you'll see that the deepest layers of insight will come like 2 or 3 minutes after you calm down. Like if you keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. It's kind of like when you want hot water and you turn on the tap, you got to let a lot of cold water flow before the hot water can even come out. So with wisdom as well, you got to write and write all that hot water, just pour it onto the pages. And then the cold, cool, real insight and wisdom will follow. A good amount to write is usually like 3 pages for some reason. Full pages, don't skip lines. That's one incredible tool. Like if you do that consistently for a month, writing something down, like 3 pages down every day. This is something also that, different people have used this tool for other reasons, creatives and artists. And the tool is just a tool, but here's where we can use it. To hear the voice of our animal soul and recognize it so that we could begin um, to talk back, to have conversations with it rather than just being driven to action that we then regret.